As a beginner or seasoned player, do you ever wonder what you still don't know in Valorant? There could be that one secret you're missing that can be the final piece of the puzzle. You watch video after video trying to find the one secret that can put everything together, but yet the tips become irrelevant once you jump in game. In this video, I am going to be sharing the 5 secrets that I had wished I known sooner that you will actually be able to use in your next match. As a player who's been an immortal multiple times, listen closely. You need to relax because you have a lot more time than you think you do. Let's think about it. You have 1 minute and 40 seconds as an attacker to plant the spike or as a defender to stop the attackers from planting the spike. On the other hand, if the bomb gets planted, you have an additional 45 seconds before that spike explodes. So whenever you get into a situation where you feel like time pressures you into making fast moves and getting sloppy, calm down and continue playing carefully. One example of this would be you're retaking Ascent A site. If you feel like there could be a lurker deep into A short, make sure to clear him. Don't think, no time for that, and pray he's not going to kill you from behind while you open the door. Going these extra steps, using your utility well, and carefully clearing your angles is going to make all the difference in these spots. Once you start slowing yourself down, you're going to be able to do things that you weren't able to do before, which is going to lead us into our second tip, dead zoning. Dead zoning is a mechanic that you can use that's going to make you an incredibly hard target to hit. The way you do this is, let's say you are close to a piece of cover. You want to swing out of the cover, but as soon as you see the enemy, you want to start to come back into cover. Now, as you start to come back into cover, that is when you want to shoot and pull down to compensate for your recoil. Essentially, you on the enemy's screen looks like a moving target who's unkillable. But on your screen, you see the enemy for about 2 seconds as you're coming back into cover, and your bullets are going to be fairly accurate. Now, just remember, you really can't dead zone if you're in the middle of the open unless you're trying to throw off your enemy's aim. But at that point, you probably should just commit to the fight. So consider dead zoning whenever you are on these tighter maps like Split and Bind. For example, on the map Bind, Showers is an absolutely perfect example for this. This mechanic could be considered running and gunning, but it's not because that doesn't exist in Valorant. Oh wait, it does. Getting into the third tip is abusing mechanics that Riot has allowed to be in their game. If you're within 7 meters of your opponent, which will be most common on maps like Split, Bind, and most parts of Lotus, you're going to want to abuse running and gunning. The way you do this is to make sure that you're within 7 meters of distance from your enemy. Now, when you start spraying, you want to make sure that you pull down for your recoil compensation a little bit more than usual just because you are moving. And when you are moving, your bullet spread is wider. With a little bit of practice, you can make the extra pull down compensation for your recoil natural. This is so strong because in close quarter combat, usually the person which is harder to hit wins out since your bullets still hit very well even when moving, while an opponent who crouch sprays has a very tough time hitting you while he is a sitting duck himself. Now, getting into the fourth tip that we have for you is clearing with intent. We see players making the mistake of half clearing angles in every single rank, so use this trick. Whenever you are about to peek or clear something, give yourself a second of pause. Mentally prepare yourself and then execute. Think of this as the stop, breathe, go method. As you're clearing and peeking these angles, make sure that you only focus on what's directly in front of you so you aren't getting nervous if you're getting flanked or what's on the opposite direction of the angle that you're peeking. Every single angle or corner that you clear, make sure that you expect an enemy to be there, which is why you need to mentally prepare yourself. So that way, as soon as you swing, you're able to react quickly and swiftly to eliminate the enemy. This goes for every single angle, no matter how unlikely it is for an enemy to be positioned there. This is one of the key differences from elite players to moderately good players. Elite players never let their guard down, and they are ready for every single angle. If you start peeking all your angles as if you know that an enemy is going to be there, you will be killing enemies so fast. They will be thinking you're a 14-year-old cracked kid who came from Fortnite. Now, getting into the fourth and final tip, which is a defusing technique that not many of you know or even use in your matches. As you are defusing, you will be put in two scenarios. You're either going to tap the spike or hold the spike defuse. Whenever you are going to tap the spike, make sure that you are on the closest side to the enemy, so that way when the enemy swings off your tap, the enemy is confronted with you being in front of his face rather than him being able to see the spike and seeing that you're not sticking the defuse. On the other hand, if you plan on holding the defuse, then you need to make sure that you're on the furthest side from the enemy, because you want the enemy to see the bomb first before he sees you, to give yourself that extra second to be able to fully stick the defuse. Now, if you think that you don't have enough time to fully stick the defuse, make sure for extra safety measures that you have your crosshair ready at head level, so if the enemy swings you, all you have to do is release your defuse key and shoot. In both situations, whether you tap or hold the defuse, you always want to expect the enemy to swing you. So just make sure that you're ready for the fight, and when the enemy swings you, don't try to do anything fancy. Just take your shot with accurate crosshair placement. All of the tips we just gave you were absolute bangers, but that's not all. Check out this next banger video that is going to show you how to really play Valorant like a high elo player. I'll see you all there, and deuce everyone.